Stakeholders, good morning. I'm going to make some remarks before I invite the CEO or the acting CEO to come and give the brief. But I want to say that I'm very excited, like everybody else, especially with the remarks that have been made by the excellencies here. It is a clear indication that we are looking and moving towards the right direction, because water is essential. And water is critical in terms of our lives. Therefore, I want to laud Jumuiya ya County za Pwani for coming up with this symposium with the theme Institutional Collaboration for Water Security and Financing. As Coast Water, we have the mandate of maintaining and managing national public water works within the coast region. And as you can see, you heard from our host governor, where he said that we have lots of resources, for instance, right here in Taita. But the big question is, how can we get this resource to ensure that it is sufficient? Maybe those are some of the discussions, honest conversations that we are going to have around this symposium. Because what we have right now, we are able to distribute 306 cubic meters per day. I mean, that is what is required. But what we are giving, we are able to supply is 180,000 cubic meters per day. And you can imagine, what is the shortfall? It's so huge. This translates to, vis-a-vis the population of 4.4 million, we've been able to take to 2.405 million people with water, piped water, which simply means it's translating to 55%. So I hear the excellencies when they talk about valid and legitimate concerns about what we need to do to ensure that water is a thing of the past. I've been asked to comment on what we are doing as Coast Water. But even in the background of the strategies that we have laid forth to ensure that we are able to facilitate and supply this water, we have been working with some financing agencies. The African Development Bank has been on the forefront. We have worked with the World Bank and the government of Kenya and French Development Bank. However, that is a drop. And that is why we need to talk to partners here and see how we can collaborate and put these issues of funding, because funding in every sector is an issue. So if we can collaborate and think of ways on how we can finance this, and one of the things that one of the governors talked about, for example, where we sit here, one of the biggest sources is Mzima. And again, you can see the person who constructed that, they envisaged that at some point we shall need more water. That is why they laid Mzima too. Unfortunately, we have been talking about this year in, year out, since time of we've been told here when it was put or constructed. But we are yet to see to it that Mzima too is functioning. It's not. However, we have made proposals. We have sat as a board, and some of these things it's not in my position to exactly say when, but I can tell you for free that the President, His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, has this in his heart. And it's part of the plans. Mzima 2 is on the way. We have had proposals, and Mzima 2, if it is completed, you can see to it that it's going to alleviate some of this, perhaps not all. We are doing at Baricho also We have actually constructed a tank that is will be able to supply 5 million cubic meters of water per day. And we have seen this. Your Excellency Governor Mungaro, I think we were with you, we've gone to inspect at Kakuyuni, and the tank is ready. The only thing that is waiting, or is almost on its way, is the piping that we have done 3.5. It's a bit slow because it's supposed to be a 29-kilometer piping. So there are interventions that as a board we have looked at. We are trying to see what can be done. We have done Pemba Dam in Kwale that was commissioned a month or so by the CS Alice Wahome. And this now is solving part of the problems of water in Kinango. They were not getting water, yet the water was coming from there, from Marere. But with the inclusion of the Pemba Dam, that has tried to alleviate some of this. But it's still a drop. It's still a drop. I'm saying this because as Coast Water, we are mandated with managing the bulk. And we partner locally with the WSPs, whereby we try as much as possible, bring that water to you, and then the WSPs also will ensure that the water goes to the local Mananchi. It is a symbiotic kind of relationship that exists. But I agree, as I come towards the end of my remarks, that with this symposium, we have lots of expectations and we need to have an honest conversation around this to see to it that how can we, as a board, how can we work with the county governments and all stakeholders and development partners to see to it that we tap on these resources, come with timelines, and see how we can go around this. Because we are committed as a board. We are a fairly new board, but these are some of the things that we have tried to go and investigate, see what can be done. We've gone round, and I'm happy His Excellency Issa Timami is here, because we are coming to Lamu also. We've been to Kilifi, we've been to Taita, but in the next 1 week or so, we're also coming and we shall pay a courtesy call to see what it is that we could also do in Lamu, because we haven't been to Lamu and Tana River. And I'm happy that you are here, so that we understand that we are walking this talk with you. There are many things that can be done. There are many things that we can work with the development partners and everybody here to achieve this goal. We have talked about exorbitant power bills. That is true. We are undergoing that. We are also facing the same in Baricho. We are lucky that at Mzima water goes through gravity. But in Baricho we are paying very huge power bills. One of the things that we have decided as a board and we are looking into is alternative source of power. And we may might contemplate trying to see if we can have a hybrid process whereby we have power and the solar. But all these are plans for the future that can be done. It has been done elsewhere and we are willing to do it. In my concluding remarks, I am confident that we shall overcome all this, including the scarcity of resources for implementation of the projects as a result of the unreliable rainfall and prolonged droughts that have been talked about, the floods, and rising sea levels. This Jumuiya, and especially this symposium, is the key to ensure that we enjoy the right to clean and safe water in adequate quantities as enshrined in the Article 43, 1D of the Constitution of Kenya. But as a board, we are willing to have this conversation, we are willing to engage, and we are willing to listen, because we cannot work alone, we cannot operate without the wisdom of everybody that is in this room. We are not looking at confrontation, but we want to listen to one another. Because by the end of the day, we are all serving the same community in whichever capacity that we are in. So for me, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank Jumuiya ya County za Pwani for organizing this, and especially to look at the key issues of water as a resource, because water is life, and I agree with that. And if we can come up with solutions, then we will get it right. Thank you so much, and I hand over this back to the CEO, Jumuiya ya County za Pwani. Asante.
Thank you so much, Chairman Coast Water. Because of the importance of Coast Water and what they are presenting, which we want to absorb, we want to call in the representative of the CEO, who has a quick technical presentation to make, and then from there we'll move forward. If you could...